Definitely.
So let's segue into Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell got caught. She's been being moved from cell to cell, and I'm gonna read a couple stuff that I have here that I pulled out from the web here.
They're gonna Epstein her.
Yeah,
So can you guys see what I'm sharing on my screen?
Coming up.
like that.
Yeah, now we can.
So here's what came out today on NPR. Judge denies bail for Ghislaine Maxwell, longtime confidant on Jeffrey Epstein. They keep calling her all these things like, oh, the helping hand of Jeffrey Epstein, confidant. Why don't they call her a pedophile? I mean, that's what she was. They keep trying to sugarcoat what she really was. Like, there's all this evidence of people talking about how they were sexually abused by Ghislaine Maxwell, just like how they were also abused by Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrews. And
I have a theory here. If you guys would like to hear, why would they try to humanize her in the way where, in the sense where they're not demonizing her like the way they should for the things that she did? Maybe they're in the process of giving her some type of deal where it's like, we'll make you look good and we won't kill you,
just give her a slap of the wrist and she gets out. Yeah, so that she can get out clean, right? That's what you're saying.
So that she go to her court date and not have to say a word, or plead the fifth or something, or lie. You know, she lied for Jeffrey Epstein all these years. Why stop now? Especially when her life and her livelihood is on the line.
So this guy who's a reporter for Courthouse News, he said that the judge sets an anticipated trial date for Ghislaine Maxwell on July 12th, 2021. This is Adam Flaxman.
Much time right there.
And then Whitney Webb, who was a reporter for Midpress News, she's now over at the Last American Vagabond. She has delved very deeply into this story behind Epstein and everything, and sex trafficking. She said, in my opinion, with a delay this long before her trial, she's going to post bail or inevitably get Epstein in prison well before next year.
For sure.
Well before next year.
I thought I saw something that they denied bail for her too.
That's what I'm pulling up. With that's what I just pulled up over here. How the judge denied bail for her. So my laptop's being slow right now. So I want to give a shout out here to Nico House, who's been on the show. He's been on Hear Me Out. He's been on Frank Analysis. He tweeted something out, and I want to hear what your thoughts are. He said, since no one wants to say it, I will. Epstein went free for so long because 98% of our federal politicians are complicit in human trafficking or directly participated in the human trafficking market.
Spot on.
What are your thoughts? Who wants to start?
Well, obviously they got something. Either if they're not directly involved, they definitely are being complicit because all they care about is Epstein's money and all the money that's involved in it. It's enough money to take care of generations, and then they just let shit like this slide because their moral compass is so effed up. I definitely agree with Nico House on this one that they're either being complicit or they're directly involved with it. Why? Because you never know, but a lot of these older dudes they're creeps, man. I don't put this kind of stuff past them.
Look at how many powerful people are involved. Prince Andrew, what's his name? Dershowitz, Bill Clinton, the president, Donald Trump. So what do you think, Bones? You've been into this for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes back to Epstein's first indictment, right? His sweetheart deal, what they called it, where the district attorney that was actually prosecuting him in that case let him, so this is in the documentary, he was literally allowed to leave 6 out of the 7 days out of his jail, right? And so the main thing was that when this, the sentence that he got was passed down, the district attorney, he got, notification from someone else and told him like, hey, this person is he's one of us. Like, don't touch him. Like, just slap him on the wrist and just keep it moving. Just basically try to get the people that were speaking out, which were the victims, to to basically have some sort of justice. And this is their form of justice. It's like, okay, yeah, he went to jail. There's his mugshot. Like, now just let him be. Like, let him do whatever he's doing. Like, he won't do it again, kind of situation. And that's
quick question, Bones, before you continue. I like that you mentioned how they had the Epstein mugshot. Franco mentioned there's no mugshot.
There's no mugshot for Ghislaine Maxwell.
That's true. And I saw a tweet. It was one of my friends on Twitter. And she's not a big conspiracy theorist. She's basically just like in her own thing. But then she pointed it out, and then that's when I first saw it. And she's like, "This is weird that I haven't seen a mugshot of Ghislaine Maxwell yet." So then I went on Google. I was on my computer, and I was like, "Are you serious? Like, I haven't seen one either." And I kept Googling it, and she said it because it's always like whenever there's some sort of like situation where like an African American person is being like either missing, something happened to them, they don't use the little family pictures that they use with like the white American family that just the father killed his entire family and like killed himself, and they don't use the mugshot, or like they'll always use like a nice picture of them.
Humanize people.
Yeah,
they're using for Ghislaine. Like they're showing
Ghislaine,
all these pictures of her
like the same thing. So it could be that they are working with her to basically paint that picture, like you've been saying, Bruno, and they're basically trying to get her out of this hole. But for the fact that she got arrested in the first place, the fact that this has been out in the open now, it has something to say, right? Like somebody is prosecuting her, somebody is going after her, somebody somewhere, either the FBI, the police department, whoever it is, somebody is fighting to get justice for Ghislaine Max, or to basically put her behind bars. But there's another side of this like secret society that they're fighting to keep her out of jail, or they're fighting to keep her alive, or if they can't do that, they're just going to kill her. And I feel like she knows that.
And why is it that the FBI and the CIA, who are supposed to be so smart, have all these equipment, all these tools? Why weren't they able to find her all this time? They could have definitely found her. Like, she was here in the United States.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they have found her?
That goes back.
They don't care about to be in plain sight.
Yeah. And I want to mention how I just want to bring up some stuff. I don't know if you guys know this, but Ghislaine Maxwell's father is Robert Maxwell, who is a British intelligence operative for Israel. Mm-hmm. And the theory is that he introduced Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein to Israel so that they can be assets for Israeli intelligence. And pretty much what they would work with is this sexual traffic, like child sex trafficking ring, where they could blackmail all these powerful people. And Robert Maxwell, when he died in a very mysterious way, in which he was like pushed off of his boat or whatever, coincidentally right when he was about to reveal some blackmail. And then the thing is, people are theorizing that they work for Israeli intelligence, and that the reason why they killed Epstein, or tried to make it look like he killed himself, is because he kept getting caught. Like he was doing a sloppy job. He kept making headlines all over the news, and they really did not want to risk him revealing anything. And I think the Israeli intelligence was just like, you know what, we don't need him anymore. He's way too sloppy. He made things way too hot. Y'all can do, like the U.S., you guys can do whatever you want with him. But now with Ghislaine, with what we're seeing, with how they took their time to find her, they're portraying her as just like somebody who was working with Epstein, as like her like
as if she was forced
recruiter.
To do it.
Like they don't call her an abuser. They don't call her that. She sexually abused people. That's what Virginia Roberts says. So it looks like they might just let her go with like a slap on the wrist, as long as she promises not to blackmail anybody.
So you smell another sweetheart deal?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that if she kills herself, like that would be like too obvious.
Yeah, they're gonna try to sweep it under the rug somehow, or give her that sweetheart deal.
I think they might do it if she refuses to cooperate.
Here's my question. Or go ahead, Bones.
Well, I was going to say, regardless of what happens, there's good that's coming out of this, right? There's there's awareness that this is real, this is happening, and there's people out there that are involved in this. So we're never going to see the Clintons the same. We're never going to see the royal family the same. We're always going to have that speculation. All these celebrities, we're always going to have that speculation. Oh my God, like that guy is probably like super like involved in this, and like
he's House of Cards, right?
Yeah, and like the character that he plays in House of Cards, his own brother came out and said that he sees no difference between the real Kevin Spacey and the character that he plays on House of Cards. He says they're almost identical. He's almost not acting.
It's a rough indictment right there.
I want to go back.
Brother.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what we were talking about. How there's no mugshot of her. You know, people are like, "Is she even in jail?" But somebody called the jail, and they were trying to see if she actually is there. So I'm going to show you guys a video that Graham Elwood.
Just search someone's name on a case search and find out where they are, like, and if they're like arrested and whatnot. If they have an open case, is that not possible to do it in whatever state she lives in?
Oh well, she was arrested in New England, but she got sent to New York, and then New York is like where they killed Epstein. And
where did
Bruno
residency?
Here's the video of like a guy calling the jail
New
where
England.
she was being housed to see if she's actually there. So here's what happened.
You may make your selection at any time. For information about an individual inmate that is currently detained, please say inmate or press 1. For information about the facility and to look up an inmate by name, say name. Or press 1. To look up an inmate, slowly and clearly speak the inmate's first and last name.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
The closest inmate name match seems to be Ghislaine Maxwell, who is 58 years old. If this name is correct, say yes.
Yes.
Or press 1. You now have access to this inmate's records, which were last updated at 3:13 p.m. The following information is all that is available for this inmate at this time. For charge information for this inmate, please say charges or
Charges.
For bond information, charges for Ghislaine Maxwell were not found within the inmate information system.
Bond.
For charge information for this inmate, please say charges or press 1. For bond information, say bond.
Bond.
Press 2. For projected release. To stop playback, please press pound. I'm sorry. Bond information for Ghislaine Maxwell was not found within the inmate information system. For charge information for this inmate, please say charges or press 1. For bond information, say bond or press 2. For projected release date, say release date or
Release
press 3.
date.
For information about update, Ghislaine Maxwell is not scheduled at this time.
Okay, so
Interesting.
That's crazy.
So according to that, she is held and in prison.
Okay.
But for some reason, she's still not getting any mugshots that are being released to the public.
I remember when I was
But yeah, like when we were talking about the Netflix series, like off camera when we talk about it, we were discussing how they made it seem like Jeffrey Epstein was this mastermind behind the whole sex trafficking, when really, like, if you were to look deeply into the evidence, and Consortium News, they did great reporting on this. It's really, Jeffrey Epstein was more of like a manager, and he was just, since he was doing such a bad job, he kept getting caught. He was expendable to, you know, the higher ups, to this sex trafficking ring, which probably runs globally.
Mm-hmm.
This runs really deep.
I remember what I was going to ask you guys. I want to ask you guys a crazy question, and I'll probably expect all no's on this. Do you think it's possible that she's already dead?
Wow.
She
that's
is.
a good
Might
one.
be a clone in there right now.
That's a good one.
Is it possible that she's already dead and that they're kind of rolling out the carpet to release like some suicide information.
That could be 100% true. Like, there's no mugshot. She was never actually arrested. She was never brought into jail. She's not even sitting in
No
jail.
picture.
That's a wild question because I haven't heard anybody raise that question before.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
If she been somewhere secluded, because if she was somewhere, even with one or two people that knows who she is, they would have pulled out their camera phone. So there's no video of any of the process of her being arrested.
There are reports of her like being transferred from cell to cell, and I think there was also one of her like protecting herself with like a tinfoil hat or something.
And gave her paper clothes. They're putting her on suicide watch. She's avoiding assassins.
So you think it could all be fake? Like, like this, they're making up a story to make us think like, oh, they got.
Yeah,
my
that could be true.
What if she's already dead, and that now they are kind of painting her out to be some victim, so that when she does kill herself, it'll be more of like a pity party for her than, and they'll kind of forget about Epstein, and kind of that will get pushed under the rug once again. Do you think that that's a possibility?
Not outside the realm of possibility at all.
2020, anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
If they knew for sure that she was going to blackmail people and they could not afford anyone getting blackmailed, these powerful people may have gave the command to get rid of her. It's possible.
That's crazy, man. Y'all ever seen Prison Break? You guys ever seen Prison Break before?
No, I haven't, but I heard it's a good show.
There's this thing, and it's basically like the government. They call it the company, and they're hip to everything. Like, they blackmailed the main character to get the death sentence for a crime he didn't commit. And like every corner, someone was trying to uncover like information about the government. It was like the president and like the governor of Illinois. It takes place in Chicago, right? And the company, they're there for everything, and everything's under the wraps. They're able to lie about everything, present themselves as federal officials, cops, politicians, and they're doing all this nasty stuff on the super down low. It's kind of like an interesting way to look at our government, where it's like they are kind of like the company. Like they're there for everything. Like if they even feel like somebody has too much information on them, they're there in a heartbeat, and they'll do something about it before anyone will even know you were gone or anything like that.
I mean, look at what they did throughout history. They've assassinated people who they felt were big threats, like Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, John F. Kennedy. So
yeah, okay. And I was watching that video that you sent me, Franco, about how this blackmailing sort of situation happened, and how they've used it on old U.S. presidents. They've used it on high-ranking officials, and I also think it's connected to the music industry, right? Because whenever you see an artist blow up or something like that, and they definitely know something, right? They definitely know there's a secret society and people sell their soul, and there's probably child pedophilia or some sort of thing going on in the industry, but nobody talks about it. And why is that? I feel like it's because of the same thing, right? The same thing that they're doing to politicians, they're also doing to celebrities. Because even Epstein, he had videos of celebrities, having orgies with children. And it's like, why do you have celebrities? Why does that even matter to you? And it's because it's all to keep this whole thing under wraps, right? So this whole blackmailing thing is just a way to protect the society, right? To enter into the society, we're going to put a camera in your face, and you're going to have sex with this little child. And if you say anything, or if anything gets leaked about our society, this video goes on YouTube, and it doesn't get removed because we own them too, kind of situation, right? And I feel like this whole Epstein thing, like even before, Franco, you said that everyone is they're a product of our society, right? The same thing with Epstein. Epstein was most likely put in power by these people, and there's people saying that he wasn't even a billionaire. Like he worked at a company that was part of a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, and he made a bunch of money for them, and then he almost went to jail for that, and then they swept that under the rug, and then instead, out of nowhere, he's this Epstein character, and he's this big billionaire guy, and he has all this money, he has all this influence out of nowhere. right? They're saying that none of that money was his. Those houses weren't his. All the cars, everything that he was flashing and showing off, none of that was his. His whole purpose was to basically get people to come to him and say, yeah, I have this money, I have this influence, I can put you in a certain position of power. Like, you're a celebrity, you want to be a famous actor, you want to be a famous singer, musician, so come to me and I can figure this out for you. I can take care of that for you. Or you have a product that you want to push, you have an idea, or you're a scientist working on something. It's like, yeah, like just come to my island, we'll talk about it, right? And then that's when the blackmailing starts, right? That's when they start, like, he was basically like the recruiter of trying to get people into this secret society. And what you had to do, you had to go through Epstein, and to get through Epstein, you had to fuck kids. Like, as fucked up as that sounds.
And then if the Israeli intelligence asset theory is true, that would explain why a lot of U.S. politicians are so soft on Israel when they're committing human rights violations on Palestinians.
Yep.
They look away. They're like, yeah, I mean, I support Israel, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, what do you think about how they're killing all these Palestinians unjustifiably? Like, these innocent Palestinians, like, they're committing human rights violations on these people, the Israeli government.
And it goes a little deeper than that, right? Because this country is built on Christian morals, right? Like they call them the Puritans, were the founders of this country, and they're extremely Christian people. And Christianity, in a way, is kind of connected to Judaism, right? Jesus Christ was a Jew, and he followed like the Judaism culture and stuff like that. So this could be going on even before all of this. Like I'm saying, like, the connection between Israel, and that's probably the foundation of these, like, secret societies. It's built off of these religions, right? And like it's been built on top of each other, and it got to the point where it's at now. And I feel like it's because they've been working on this for that long.
And Christianity is like a bastardization of what it originally was when Jesus founded it. Like, Jesus was more so of like a prophet, like very spiritual guy. And then Christianity didn't gain its popularity like nationwide, like until the government used it hundreds of years later to try to control people. Like, oh, look, like, we can help you like feel enlightened and all that, make your life better. You just have to follow these rules.
One thing I want to say, that, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but as far as religion, I grew up in a Catholic household, right? I used to go to church every Sunday. Nowadays, not so much. I am, spiritual. I do pray from time to time when I feel like it's needed, but mostly for like, to make myself mentally feel better. I feel some people have taken religion to the point where it's like they use it to justify criminal action or just to be a dickhead. Like, religious fanatic stuff is like, for most people, is almost always a complete turnoff. Like, you don't want somebody approaching you on some, like the guy at Montgomery College who posts up with his microphone talking about everybody, or like, just talking his crazy, sharing his like extreme religious beliefs. Like, so I think that people took that completely, way further than what the intentional purpose of it was.
All right, so let's just get our final words here. I personally think that Ghislaine is either they're gonna Epstein her, she's probably already dead, or they're gonna give her a slap on the wrist if she agrees to cooperate with whatever the intelligence agencies want her to do. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think unless she agrees to just completely go against her own self-interest, and they're either gonna kill her or they're gonna do what you said. It's all just a big conspiracy, man. This is all just so crazy to me, and it's just
definitely wants to live.
Yeah, it's amazing what we're seeing right now in terms of just like people wanting to get so knowledgeable about everything going on in the world and wanting to actually be conscious about it. So this is just like the perfect time to, especially when we're all inside, not trying to get sick.
Yeah, everyone has more time.
There, Brooks. I love the unity of the people on this particular topic. We tend to disagree, I disagree with you guys sometimes. People on Twitter disagree with each other at times. But this is the one thing everyone is all agreeing on. Epstein and the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, like everyone is just about on the same level of understanding here that something is not right, and the government got their hands in some shit that they don't want us to know about. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to her moving forward, you know.
And for people who want to know more information about this, if they want to like do deeper research into this stuff, I recommend checking out Whitney Webb. She's a former reporter from Mint Press News. She's now over at The Last American Vagabond. You can also check out Graham Elwood's channel. He covers a lot of Jeffrey Epstein. He has on Whitney Webb. Also Consortium News, who occasionally has Elizabeth Voss, also reports a lot of information about the whole Epstein story. Thanks for watching that segment of Hear Me Out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below so you can get the latest on sports, pop culture, and progressive politics. Stay informed.